Hello everybody, I'm Steve. Welcome to Green Side Up, the home edition again. I was at the allotments this morning and I've taken a lot of the plants out of here down to there, and tomorrow I'll be potting all those on, but I need to make space in here ready for the next batch of sowing. So it's the end of February and I've already got a lot of plants. I have a big plot, I need a lot more plants, and that's why I sow early. But I'll show you what I have got in here anyway, and then we'll move on and we'll get sowing some seeds. So here on the propagated bench, I've just got some peppers and some aubergines. These are some flowers, Ami. I've got parsley here which hasn't really come through yet, maybe one or two, and some dill over there. And these are my crimson crush tomatoes. I have got all my bottles of water and the bottle that's in use on this bench to keep everything the same temperature. And I've got a lot of trays ready on here, ready for sowing. Some flowers and some more veg over this next, I don't know, 4 or 5 days I suppose. But I've cleaned it all out, all those plants have gone for now. Just while we're on the subject of tomatoes here, or while I've mentioned them, it's to be borne in mind that I sow these early because I can store these at a temperature. They will stay on this propagating bench until they hit the top of the bubble wrap up here, which is a good 18 inches up, and that's likely to be the end of, getting towards the end of April. They will stay on here for, so I can maintain that all important overnight temperature of 10 degrees. If you can't maintain that temperature, what will happen to the tomato plants is they'll stop growing, they'll check, and that's not good. What you want is a continued growth. So when I pot these on in 2 or 3 days time, they will continue growing because they maintain that overnight temperature of 10 degrees at all times. It's actually a lot warmer than that, but that's a different story. So do hold off. If you can't maintain that overnight 10 degree temperature, do hold off for another month. I'll be sowing more tomatoes, getting towards the end of March, which is just my normal crops. And, you know, they will probably overtake these Crimson Crush or catch right up with them anyway. But, you know, I like to push the boundaries. So anyway, that's those tomatoes. Hold off unless you can maintain a temperature of 10 degrees. One of my friends down at the allotments today, he was in his greenhouse and I went and had a quick chat with him, socially distanced of course, and he was sowing tomatoes and into little modules. And I said to him, do you realise tonight's temperature is going to go down to 1 degree? So, you know, those tomato seeds are just going to be sat in cold, wet soil and possibly could even freeze. So, you know, these things you've got to bear in mind. You've got to watch the weather and watch or know what temperatures you can protect at. And it's vitally important at this time of the year. You can get away with it. And you'll see a lot of growers on YouTube now, for instance, and they'll be sowing tomatoes, but they know already that they can maintain or look after those tomatoes and get away with these very, very early sowings. So just bear that in mind. Now I'm a little bit behind with this, but this is Celeriac and the variety is Giant Prague. As you can see, there's 10,000 seeds in that. I used these last year and I'm going to sow them this year. Germination was good on these last year, but they're now a year older. So what I have a tendency to do when I know my seed is a little bit older is I will sow just a little bit more than I think I'm going to need. I mean, there's probably hundreds in there, but it matters not. I'll separate them all off when they've grown up, when they're up to a decent size. And you'll find, especially if you sieve your compost like I do for all seed sowing, that you'll be able to pull those roots apart on those plants very, very easily. I'll put up a little bit of footage from last year which shows me doing that, and yeah, it's makes life so much easier. It just means that the roots of the plants aren't getting all tangled up in bits of wood and twig and stuff if you sieve your compost, and it makes life that little bit easier. So that's it with the celeriac. A little bit of compost on the top. You can use a bit of vermiculite if you want. I just use compost because it's what I have to hand. All my vermiculite's still in the shed, so anyway, celeriac done. Okay, I've got some lettuce here, and this is my first one, and probably my favourite. It's one of the Franchi seeds, of its Franchi Italian seeds. And anyway, it's a red Grenoble or Rouge Grenoblaise, and I say it's one of my favourite lettuce. This now is an old seed, and it's advising on the back there to 1221, so, and it was packed 2018 to 19, so it is an old seed. So I've had an issue. I tried to sow this earlier in the year, and it was very sporadic germinating. So what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to load these in to 2 drills here. It matters not, I've got new seed on the way, but I'll sow these now and prick out what I get. And you can see I put hundreds in there, but as long as I get some lettuce out, that's grand. And this is one of the lettuces which is brilliant for picking leaves from. So individual leaves, and you keep the plants going. But I find it's also really nice to cut a head of this if you can, and then just chiffonade it up with a knife to go with some I don't know, with some meats or something, you know, whatever you like. But I love this stuff chiffonaded, almost like what you get with the old-fashioned prawn cocktail. Anyway, that's red Grenoble. I've got a few others here that I want to sow. This one is Arctic King. There we go, Arctic King. Again, it's a similar thing with this one. It's a lettuce I like to chiffonade. You know, you just quickly chop up a couple of leaves and put it on a salad, and it's just wonderful. So I'll just palm sow these. Not quite as thickly as I did the red Grenoble. And so I've got quite a few to go. And this one is quite a mouthful of name to come up with. Regia Rossa da Taglio, or Taglio. Don't ask me to say that again, because I'm not going to. Regia Rossa da Taglio. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sowing these in a method that you'll all be familiar with now. I like to put them in full seed trays, furrow the seed trays, and I use an old piece of glass just to tamp down a furrow, like so. And then I'll compost over the top, and it means I can get 8, 9, 10 different varieties of whatever I'm sowing, basically, into one tray. And then from there, whatever germinates, I then prick out those, whatever germinates here, into module trays and grow them on. And it saves me space. I can get so many of these trays on my bench propagator behind me, and yeah, just saves me an inordinate amount of space. All the plants I took off that propagator this morning, they're all down the allotment. I took them down there and watered them, and I'll be potting them on over this next 2 or 3 days. Again, the plants that I've got down there, there's no way I could have sown them directly into modules. But I will be doing some sowing directly into modules over this next couple of weeks. So that's that one. So I'll fill the rest of this tray up with lettuce. What other varieties have I got here? That's a bloody cabbage. I don't want cabbage. So I've got lettuce freckles, Intred, and Oakleaf Navara. They're again lovely lettuces. This lettuce in thread is particularly nice. It's another crispy lettuce, but the flavour of the oak leaf Navara is one to be rivalled, I think. And that just looks stunning. Lettuce freckles. It's a nice green leaf, and as you can imagine, got freckles on it. So I'll get on with and finish this off. Right, so that's the last couple sown. You can see I've gone much lighter on these because they're new seeds. So, and I haven't actually filled all of these furrows, but I will come back and fill those up with another lettuce. Now, if I've got too many, we'll either eat them as young plants, grow them on and eat them as young plants, or I'll give them away down the allotments or to locals in the village, whatever. So they'll all get used, and I'll get swaps back, you know. So I don't really mind. I say I've definitely got some other seeds to find. I couldn't find them last night or this morning. They'll be around somewhere in one of my various pots and things. If anyone's aware of a good seed storage solution, please do let me know. Only joking. I know plenty around who know one. But anyway, there we go. That's those sown and my celeriac sown. So this will start soon. This propagator will soon start filling up again. So there we go. These just need a good water now. Actually, I can do that now. And then they go on the propagator here to keep nice and moist and warm. I'll find the rest of those seeds. I'm going to have to get all the boxes together tonight and get a table out in the living room and sit there watching the telly and sort them all out. Get myself a bit more organised because I'm absolutely atrocious at it. But there we go. There's a second batch of salad. I've got a load of leaves. Sown in a tray down at the allotments, and I've also got a load of seedlings to pot on, which will be my first lettuces of the year. And I'm thinking I might actually plant them early in the polytunnel and see if we can get some nice early salads. This lot will be the first main crop, and in about 5 or 6 weeks time I'll sow some more lettuce just to keep it going. But I'll be a little bit more sparing with the sowing as the season moves on. So that's it for today. Look after yourselves, everyone. Please stay safe, and I'll see you very, very soon. Take care now. Ta-ra.